A little toasty in here, sorry about that. Do you want your heated seat on?
No.
No, okay. You sure?
You see I'm in shorts. I don't need my heated seat.
Well, that's why I asked if you wanted it on. It's a little chilly, you know, so.
For you, baby.
Yeah, so I got my little comfy sweatshirt on that Pat and Roger made me. Thank you so much. Hey guys, how you doing? It's great when we can do a Tuesday format in a Tech Tuesday. Chuck and I are going to have a discussion with you here in just a moment, as soon as this phone stops ringing. Yeah. That's probably
just a text message.
Service drive. And another one. Yeah. All right, so we'll try to make this quick. But real quick before he and I start, I just want to let you know, thank you everybody for replying to my social media stuff yesterday about me going to the PETERSEN Automobile Museum for the reveal of the Z06. And I put that out, and thank you for the honest feedback. That's what I wanted. I really wanted to be there. Anytime I can be at notable Corvette events, it's cool for me, but I do that a lot for you guys. I don't think that the Z06 reveal is going to be at the stature. Let's not, you know, discard it. I mean, this is going to be a big deal in this car, bigger than I think a lot of people realize, but it's not going to be the stature of the actual C8 reveal that they did in Tustin, California. And I didn't go to that because that was a different focus for Chevrolet, and I really did get more done here at the dealership. So I've decided I'm not going to go, but thank you for taking the time to read that post and reply to that yesterday. I really do appreciate it. And thanks for watching the video on Sunday where I compared my customers' orders versus everyone else in the nation. I just really thought it was a great comparable, and I forgot to mention in the video that was based on 190 of my sales. So this is not 3 or 4 cars. So it was a lot of orders. Thank you so much for the business, guys. And then you know I don't like to do this. You and I talk off camera a lot. I don't like to address the negative stuff. But there was somebody that said, well, you know, why is this such a big deal? Your orders versus everybody else's. A number of reasons why, because I'm so immersed and involved in the Corvette community for 26 years, and I wanted you to see the slice of our customers and what their thought process is and what they're ordering and what they're selecting. And because I do business all over the country, it gives you a real good idea, I think, of what's really going on. And there's countless times that people have ordered with me and they said, well, you know, I was going to do a coupe, but after this and this and this and this conversation you and Chuck had, or Rick, you had on your vlog, I'm going to go to a convertible. And hey, I was going to do a 1LT, but after you said this, I'm going to do a 2LT. And then I've had other people that watch the channel, and thank you for joining us now. They said, hey, I found you after I bought my car, ordered my car, and man, I didn't know I could do this. I should have done that. So that's why I wanted you to see. In some cases you saw there was a huge disparity in some of the colors and the options. So one more time, for colors anyways, here's the 2 slides that show you what my customers chose last year for 2021 in colors and what the national top ranking colors were for the C8 Corvette. Check these out real quick. So thanks again, you guys, for watching that on Sunday. If you missed that, there will be a video link down below in the description as always, so you don't miss that stuff. I try to throw as much content at you guys as we possibly can. And today's upload, because my audience has a tendency to, the watch time is just fantastic. Most of you watch the entire videos. At the end of this video, we have some great looking cars, and I say this every week, but Chucky, I've got some good looking cars in the beautiful ride segment at the end of today's vlog. All right, our focus today, even though we're sitting in a C8, right, proud of you doing that, is C7 Corvette. I touch base with him every single day, see what's going on in service. That's how I learn. He and I have conversations, and sometimes it generates a content for you guys here as today's discussion. So C7 Corvette, I was this close from buying one. I think is just a great car. Up until this car, it really was the best Corvette we've ever had. And for that just to be kind of that filler Corvette to get us to C8 is really impressive by the Corvette team. But now that we look at it, I mean, that started in, you know, the fall of 13. These cars they're getting up there in age, just like your boy Ricky. But yeah, 4, 5, 6 years old, these cars, and you're starting to see it, and there's issues that are popping up. So Chuck and I just want to talk about some of those things to remind you that there's more to your car than just changing the oil and putting gas in it. I mean, there's some things you really need to pay attention to. So I know that, and it's funny too, because you took in a trade where some of the guys say, oh, this guy's great care of his car. This car needs nothing. And Chuck's like, well, let me look at it, puts it up on the rack. Lo and behold, one of the things we're going to talk about, I mean, the tires were worn on the inside. When you guys look at your tires, it's not on the outside.
Right, no.
You know?
No, it's always on the inner edge.
And that car also needed what? It needed a couple other things too, didn't it?
Yeah, it had a transmission shutter.
Okay.
It had a door rattle.
Yep.
Had a leaking belt tensioner, and needed front tires and alignment. So cut to it didn't need anything. It needed quite a bit.
And actually, I think it had a bent rim too, didn't it?
I had 2 bent rims, 1 cracked.
Right. But that car needed nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, so start at the top. You mentioned belt tensioners. Let the folks know what that is as far as how they can identify that they may have a potential problem in their C7 Corvette.
Well, I mean, really the only way you'll notice it is if you start hearing like a rattling noise. We had one in just yesterday. Guy said at times it sounds like there's somebody under my hood with a bag of marbles shaking them.
Okay. All right.
And this belt tensioner, what it is, it's a spring-loaded hydraulic tensioner. So the spring is what puts the tension on the belt, but they use the hydraulic fluid to dampen the noise. What happens is the seal ruptures, all the fluid leaks out. Now there's nothing to dampen the noise, so it starts rattling. So,
right.
Yeah, we've seen quite a bit of the belt tensioners over time. Just the seal pops on them and they leak all the fluid out.
Right. And that's one thing that he looks for. I mean, we've taken in a fair amount of trades, but we've also been buying a lot of C7 Corvettes to keep the shelves full in that area because the new ones come in and out. And it's going to be well over a year before you can walk into the lot and see something in stock for sale. Although I will throw this out there, a little sale thing if you don't mind, Chucky. Yeah. I do have 2 used C8s coming in on trade. If you're interested, text me directly, and I'll get back to you guys and talk about those details and see if that won't be something that would work for you. We just were talking briefly bent or cracked rims, which we see a lot on C7 for Grand Sport and Z06, and you're having, rather than replacing a lot of these, you're actually having a company come out here many times, the customer's choice, repair those rims.
Absolutely. The company does an excellent job. When I put them back on, they're straight, true, balance out well, and it's like $125 to straighten one versus $500–600 for a new rim.
Right.
So.
Now, you know what's funny too, and I didn't know this all this time. I figured when we had cracked rims, and that's a discussion about why that happens for another time. We're all frustrated with it, but you got to deal with it. So you actually said the same company can still repair a cracked rim. How the heck do they do that?
Well, depending on how bad it's cracked, if it's just a hairline crack, what they do is they go in with a die grinder and V it out to give them some place to put the weld in and weld it back together and then smooth it back out, true the rim back up, and it's good to go.
Yeah, it's funny. He'll put these on the balancer, and the tires just go.
Oh yeah,
you don't even have to wait for the machine to tell him. He's just like, oh boy.
Egg shape.
Sometimes you can just turn it by hand, and you can say, womp, womp, womp. It's like, okay. And we just see that so often. So that's when you have your car in for service. That's something that he will check if you're having it serviced here. If you're having it serviced elsewhere, and you're watching us across the country, have these things identified. Right? Have these guys really dig in so you're maintaining the car right. That's one of the main reasons I do this channel, so you guys have a good ownership experience.
Sure.
Brakes that I've noticed on some of the C7s, I'll back up or just start and all of a sudden you hear that this annoying freaking squeak. And there's a couple of ways that you can remedy that.
I call it the school bus squeak. Everybody hears a school bus pull up out front.
Oh yeah, man, yeah, it sounds great. And everyone looks over, and that's a Corvette?
Yeah, right. GM actually came out with a bulletin for this. You take the brake pads out, you block sand them to rough them up again, and then you apply copper grease to the top and bottom edge of the metal where it sits in the caliper. What's happening is that the pad vibrates in the caliper, which is what's giving you that squealing noise. So once you put a little copper grease on it, it takes up the slack. It can't vibrate. So
so it is fixable.
It is fixable.
Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic. Speaking of squeaks, I just had it in my convertible, and we've talked about this in the last couple of years in our Tech Tuesday segments. And that squeak, I used what Chuck helped me put it on, the dielectric grease on the moldings, put it on there, let it soak for a little bit, and then wiped off the excess. Because as soon as I opened up the top, you know, the car was clean, but I opened up the top and you could see right on the line
where the
of
top
the molding
sits
is
down.
You could see the dust line right there, and that's what was starting to do that. So for C7 folks, because that's really the sake of the conversation today, if you have a top that is squeaking, it could be that, or it could be what, a couple other things?
Yeah, they've redesigned the pins in the front. If you pull your top out and look and the pins are black, they're the old style pins. There's an updated pin out with a gray covering on it to help with noise. The rear latch, when you latch the rear latch up, if you can push it up real easy,
if it's loose,
out of adjustment, you should have to, not a lot of pressure, but you should be able to push it up and hear it go clunk clunk and watch it pull the top, rear of the top down slightly. If you just push it up and goes click, then it's out of adjustment.
Or if you push it down to release it, to take the top out, and it just kind of folds down, that thing should just snap. So that way you know it's tight.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
We were talking about tires and why some of the tires are wearing on the inside edge. Depends on the alignment.
Yeah, it really does. Everybody has to realize that these things are basically out of the box race cars. They have race car alignments on them pretty much. So, I mean, the toe and the camber staggered out for track use, because a lot of people do track the cars. So GM sends them out with a semi-track alignment on them, but if you're just streeting your car, you're just wearing the inside of the tires out.
Right. So when you come in to see him, or at your local dealership, and you're like, why the heck are my tires worn out at 5, 6, 7,000 miles? That's why.
That's why.
There's been situations in C7 Corvette, and we've covered this a couple of times, and surprisingly, it's an easy fix, but there's a couple of steps to get to it, and that's door vibration when your radio's on. And you may not notice it so much inside the car as you do outside the car. And and some of the kids liking it, like, hey, listen to that guy over there. It's like, no, idiot, that's not what I'm trying to do. It's like, and the doors just and they're just vibrating and driving you nuts. You have to take the interior door panel off, and there's a butyl down that center brace that you have to put in there that I guess is sometimes it just shrinks up. Is that what it is?
Yeah, over time it'll shrink up. But what it is, where the door frames here, the door skin comes over it like this. So as this stuff deteriorates, it sits there, the door skin rattles against the door frame.
Yeah, it's because the speakers are just below it.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So that's something that's easy to fix. And if you get that, if you're outside your car, the radio's on, it doesn't even have to be that loud, and you hear that vibration, and you see the kids going like this, you better get it fixed.
Yeah.
Right. MPP performance exhaust, a couple of situations where you hear rattles back there in the exhaust, depending on the modes that you're in. There could be a number of things. There was a bulletin that you and I were just looking up for a friend of mine, and inside those actuators, you had to cut off some ears and things like that. Sometimes that'll fix it, and there's another way that you said that could be remedied as well.
Well, you could. There's a relearn procedure for the NPP valves and the cylinder deactivation valves. Sometimes they lose where they're supposed to be at, and you have to relearn them.
So just get that computer communications right. He knows how to do all that stuff for you guys as well. And the transmission shutter. It's nice that that's covered under the powertrain warranty, but again, we're creeping up where you're now going past that threshold and may not realize it. And this is for automatic transmissions. It was funny, you had a guy come in one time and he had manual. It's just, hey, I got this transmission shutter. Chuck said, no, you don't. He said, yeah, I do. He said, no, you don't. You don't have a torque converter. You have a manual transmission, so maybe he's just not shifting right. But if you have an automatic transmission, and you get that vibration, that shutter, mostly at highway speeds. This procedure's been changed a few times, and the most recent one over the last couple of years has really fixed that, and it is a process. It's not a quick process, but it is a process. If it's no longer covered under powertrain, what are they looking at cost-wise to have this done?
Right about $1,000.
Okay. So
because, yeah, it's a lengthy process of flushing the transmission 3 times.
Okay.
So, and then the fluid's a little more because of the HP. They put a HP high performance mobile fluid in it. So
right. So when you come in for service, the service advisor should be checking all your warranties. If you got extended warranty, do you have anything left in bumper to bumper warranty? What is your powertrain warranty? Those are discussions you have there before the car comes back into his service bay.
And we didn't really see this problem until 2015.
Yeah.
but it was from 15 clear through to 2019.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
if you have a 14, you probably don't have this problem.
A couple maintenance reminders for you guys, in addition to the things that we're talking about now. Passenger compartment air filter. That's got to be changed every 22,500 miles or every 2 years. Just another thing to think about. Better ownership, better care of your Corvette. That's the stuff we want to provide for you on the channel. And what do you got next there on the
the air filter every 37,500 or every 4 years
for the engine? Yes.
Yep.
Rear axle fluid. They're saying change that every 45,000 miles.
Yeah. Well, and the transmission fluid and filter every 45,000. But anybody that's been in with me, these fluids, just like the coolant's only good for 5 years or 100,000 miles.
Yeah.
Usually I recommend all these fluids be changed because a lot of people don't put a whole lot of miles on their vet. So the mileage is kind of taken out of the picture and it's more like a time thing. Right. And I recommend that stuff every 5 years.
Absolutely.
But if you hit the mileage first, then you want to do the mileage.
Sure.
But if you're not hitting the mileage, I recommend all the fluids be changed every 5 years.
Absolutely. And that's stuff that he's checking, and make sure you have a good, wherever you're having your Corvette serviced, you have a good relationship with the service department and the technician that's doing this. And these are questions you won't ever have to question. You'll just know that they're being looked at in your behalf. Manual transmissions, and those are such a fun car to drive in C7. They really are. The clutch fluid has to be changed every 3 years. So remember that, guys, in your manual transmission. So again, just some maintenance reminders, some situations that he see pop up. And I'll tell you what, guess what? You can find out all this information in the back of your owner's manual. So you guys should read that once in a while. Some good information in there.
Sure.
Thanks for taking the time, man.
Thank you guys for watching and supporting.
I do appreciate that. And before you go, instead of talking about cars, let's take a look at some great looking cars. I promise these are fantastic. These are your beautiful rides. Subscribe, like, and comment down below. We'll see you next time.
I was too young, and I didn't understand that you were the one, and I can't wait to see you Hindsight is fleeting when your heart's bleeding and all you can see is red, till you discover it is within each other to forgive and make amends. If I had known then what I know now, I wouldn't have said what I said. I took the long road, thought I'd be better on my own. Sometimes what's right is wrong instead, 'cause I was too young, and I didn't understand that you were the one, and I can't wait to see you again. Oh, I can't wait, I can't wait, I can't wait, 'cause I was too young, and I didn't understand that you were the one.